Modern humans evolved over 300,000 years ago. The earliest farming cities, permanent settlements that archaeologists have been able to find are about 12,000 years old. Western scholars often presume that before 12,000 years ago we were nomadic hunter-gatherers all that time. But what actually happened is 12,000 years ago, the Ice Age ended and the climate stabilized. This idea that we were all hunter-gatherers, just wandering aimlessly and foraging mushrooms for 288,000 years, is absurd. Archaeological evidence is biased towards things that survive that long. So stone tools instead of wood or textiles. But the truth is, what we haven't found shapes our timeline more than anything we have. Original matter decays. This side shows no ice at all. This looks into the future a little bit about where it's headed. This is 2100. This side is back then, Ice Age. This whole area is inhabited. Ireland and England are still connected to France. There's an entire continent that was here that's now missing from Polynesia. It was called Sundaland. So when people say agriculture began 12,000 years ago, what they mean to say is the earliest evidence we've found so far indicates there could very well have existed complex societies long before 12,000 years ago. It's kind of hard to believe that humans have been around for 300,000 years but only figured out tools or cities or farming 12,000 years ago. So what, we've only been civilized for 4% of human history? When actually the planet is alive and to the earth everything returns. Human history just isn't that simple. I know it's a nice story. First we wandered out of Africa, then we settled and we built cities. It's just not that simple. Human history is a patchwork of experimentation, collapses, rises, reconfiguration, and adapting to an ever-changing environment. What we call history is just the bits that fossilized. We didn't start out as wanderers. We lived near fresh water, in valleys, in land that could feed us. At the end of the last ice age, global temperatures begin to rise. As the ice sheets melted, sea levels rise. And slowly, over thousands of years, they rise 100 meters. This had significant ongoing effects on human populations. It's what causes the nomadic lifestyle. At this time, these country outlines don't exist. This is just one mass of land, inhabited by Celts. It slowly floods, displacing all the communities who lived there. People had to move inland as the coastline shifted. This actually did not happen like some great dramatic biblical flood. It happened at about the same pace we're losing landmass at the moment. Actually, it happened slower than we're currently facing. The Black Sea region, the coastal Levant, parts of the Indian subcontinent, and North Africa all show signs of ancient displacement driven by environmental change. This was not aimless, meandering, nomadic for nomadic's sake. It was a response to physical loss. And the memory of this experience persisted and shaped future human behavior. It's not evidence of civilizations suddenly appearing. It's evidence of civilizations having to relocate under pressure. And over time, these migration patterns become human habits. They shaped how people adapted to change and how we rebuilt systems later. Humans build up a deep familiarity with moving. We get more adaptive, learning how to survive in new landscapes quicker. This happens both physically, in terms of what we can eat, how we survive, and mentally and socially, the kinds of stories we tell each other. Early myths all over the world carry similar themes. Journeys, migrations, floods, natural disasters, and the almighty of the divine. So then the idea of having a promised land or ancestral migration routes become embedded in the oldest human stories. The Epic of Gilgamesh, the Exodus, even Polynesian navigation myths. Groups that could adapt quickly, learn the new ecosystem, cooperate, and innovate ways to survive flooding. They're the ones that pass down the tradition and knowledge. Those who clung on to one place and one tradition, they don't survive global shifts. Over generations, this creates a huge amount of mental plasticity in the human animal. We become open to novelty, survival not of the fittest, but of the one who can stay on the move. This then fosters expansion habits, especially when resources in an area become scarce. While the urge to move isn't inherently colonial, it's coming from survival and escapism. Colonization is structured, violent expansion. But the urge to move made later colonization possible, especially as agriculture and growing military power allows people to hold on to land rather than just pass through. The transition from freedom to control, or nomadic to settled, which is a gross oversimplification. But controlled states start to emerge around 12,000 years ago. This is when the climate stabilizes and the accumulation of land, livestock, food makes permanent settlements more attractive. At this point, expansion is no longer reactive, it becomes strategic and extractive. Trade routes and military campaigns follow back over those earlier migration paths. And colonialism emerges when the ability to move and settle becomes tied to ownership and control.